Hello, my friends, esteemed colleagues, family. I have been asked many times how to safely start the self-healers protocol. Well, what is the self-healers protocol? It is allowing body to heal itself without our intervention. Self-healing. And our bodies are perfectly designed to do that, to maintain themselves healthy. If we make error, body will cleanse itself and reestablish the healthy state. It's all about vibration. Every cell is designed to vibrate in certain way, and the vibration identifies it. So it's what is happening with the cell is happening with the tissue, with the organ, with the body as such. Overall, it's like an orchestra. You can have a single instrument, you can have few instruments together, creating a tissue. You can have a bunch of same instruments creating organ, and different groups of instruments creating orchestra. The body is orchestra. It's a robotic orchestra, runs on electricity through vibration. Now, as it is designed a certain way, it is designed with certain vibration. When the vibration is maintained, we are healthy, we are happy, everything is fine. The problem is when the vibration shifts, because again, we are running on programs, and everything that we experience in our reality is nothing else than interpretation of the vibration through our sensory programmed parts. Well, we call them sensory organs. So we know that light contains a variety of frequencies. And if you separate those frequencies, you will notice that it spreads into different colors. Each color represents different frequency. Not every frequency body is not programmed to show every frequency in a form of color. And the frequency of color, it is going to project through eyes. That's a sensory organ for light, which means everything what you see is light. And other frequencies, like for taste, well, it goes through sensory organ of taste, but also depends on the frequency. Frequency shifts, taste changes according to how it was programmed. Same is for feeling of touch, pressure, and so on. I've explained this in my previous videos. So when we vibrate the way we have been programmed to vibrate, everything is fine. Our biggest mistake is when we start heating food. Because whenever you heat something, what are you doing? You are raising frequency. Everything that you heat vibrates faster. And when the stuff that you are heating changes anything about its reality, it means frequency shifting. So when you are heating the food, doesn't matter if it's a plant or animal product, you will notice that smell changes. Why? Frequency shifted. Color changes. Frequency shifted. Taste changes. Frequency shifted. Now, are these frequencies when they shift good ones? Well, we can think of, let's say, coffee. Try to recall first time you tried coffee. It's disgusting. Disgusting. You cannot even drink it. So what you do, you take a sugar, you pour some coffee over the sugar, and you eat that sugar. And whoever starts first time with coffee, they start drinking very, very sweet coffee because they have to get used to that bitter, awful taste. Now, bitter, awful taste tells you that your body does not like it. Yeah, but we want to imitate others. Oh, everybody grown-ups drink coffee, so I'm getting grown up, I can do it now. And then you go, sugar, sugar, sugar. Okay? Same is with beer, same is with wine. Same is with alcohol of any kind. And what happens? Since you keep providing this stuff, your body starts genetically adjusting to this. So it can tolerate it because it's a poison. And once when it's adjust, it stops bothering you. And now since you're adjusted in this way, you kind of feel bad when it's not coming because you have programmed yourself for this particular frequency. These are adaptations. When we are talking about that stuff and protection, because raises immune system, it does not raise immune system. Since it remains in a body, it forces body to adapt, to adjust. But at the same time, and adapting, adjusting makes you more resilient. I've spoken about cyanide. You can put it in a soup, big bowl of soup, and mix it and have just tiny bit of it, and nothing will happen. And every day increase eating a little bit more of this. Well, after a couple of weeks, you can put cyanide directly on your lip, lick it, and nothing will happen. It's not that it became good for you, but your body had to adjust and had time to adjust to not die, not croak when it is in contact with this stuff. Same as with coffee, same as with alcohol, same as with variety of things that we are doing to ourselves. These adjustments allow you to survive it, but they prevent your body to vibrate correctly because shifted vibration to be able to tolerate this. And we call it body is becoming toxic because it shifts vibration. And many things are making us toxic because we eat incorrectly. We always heat the food up. We are making it toxic. We are making it vibrating incorrectly. Now, toxic doesn't mean it's going to kill you. Very often, toxicity, you don't even feel it. Your bad thoughts are toxic, very toxic. And the body is going to try to eliminate these frequencies out. It eliminates them from the blood through blood cleansing organs. And when we are low on blood plasma, what is urine? Blood plasma. With less minerals, because body is trying to hold minerals, it needs them, but it cannot hold all of them. So when you try urine, it's salting. You are losing plasma all the time. When you're urinating, defecating, sweating, crying, you have to replenish it. And we are being incorrectly guided because, again, remember that our knowledge comes through Rockefellers, through cabal. They want the population. So again, what do you think they teach us doctors to do when people, sick people that vibrate incorrectly, come seeking help? Well, we are guided to poison them further, not to heal them, because no doctor knows how the body really works. No doctor knows origin of any chronic disease, because we have been misguided through biochemistry. Biochemistry is a bunch of baloney. It's an electronic robot. We need physics. We don't need chemistry. And the new equipment, healing equipment that will be released shortly, are all based on adjusting frequency, either through light, sound, and the most sophisticated is strictly electromagnetic, because these are all electromagnetic frequencies, but they can be transported through the other means like sound and light. So when we are talking about self-healers protocol, what is that? Well, allowing body to correct its vibration. Now, when you know how you influence your vibration, immediately you know, well, you have to change diet. You cannot eat the way we are accustomed eating. No cooked food. Now, do we have to be really strict? Yeah, well, our body is flexible. So you will have improvements with any change that you do to better. But the fastest healing is going to be actually without you eating anything. So going on fast. Now the body has to readjust its genetic expression, the directions that is going to give to the cells, how to what to do to survive in the environment that you are creating or you are immersed into. But most of the cleansing is going through blood. Why? Because we really don't know how toxic we are until blood becomes toxic. Why? Because blood is our energy supply. Blood is like if you have a house and you have the wiring coming in a house, electricity comes in a house, goes into your outlets. Well, this is blood going through the body. And then you have your consumers. You have your refrigerator, you have your washing machine, you have your dishwasher, you have your heaters, you plug in the outlets. And they are using this electricity. Well, the consumers in the body is a tissue, is our organs that plug, and they are plugged in these outlets, electricity. And then you have a central consumer that controls everything and adjusts frequencies of certain energies so certain organs can function correctly. And this is the brain. The brain is the biggest consumer of electricity. This is why you have 1/3 of the blood shooting into the brain to bring energy. Energy is produced by heart. So this is, in a nutshell, how the stuff works. If you have toxins in the blood, well, toxins do not vibrate correctly. So when you have let's say, a tuning fork, and you strum it, and you listen to it, it has crisp sound. And if you bring it closer to some object, the sound is becoming duller. Why? Because the object is not tuned to the same frequency. So you can, many healers use a tuning fork, strum it and go closer to the body and listen. And as soon as they hear a little dulling of the sound, they know, okay, this part of the body does not vibrate correctly because it's out of tune. And it is going to suppress the sound from the fork. And you hear it. Well, same happens when you have this toxic blood. Electricity that flows is being suppressed. Again, it's all frequency. Electromagnetic movements in frequency. So something is not vibrating correctly. It is going to be suppressing, and more of these suppressors you have, the less energy flow you have through the blood, and you feel tired, you feel that your brain cannot work correctly. This is toxic blood. So what are the symptoms of toxic blood? I explained them many times. Okay, you cannot concentrate, you cannot sleep, you even blurred vision. You can even have a problem with equilibrium. You can pain, production of pain. Well, those are basically the most pronounced one. And then you have symptoms of body cleansing this. And we cleanse through primary system, which is kidneys or urine. Secondary system, much stronger, mucosal tissue. And then you have the tertiary, the emergency one, which is through skin, because you lose least amount of plasma cleansing through skin. And you will experience problems there. This is going to be appearing. Dark urine, urinating a lot, as long as you have enough plasma in the blood. Having diarrhea, having nausea, and phlegm, tearing eyes, runny nose. This is all part of eliminating the toxins from the blood. And later on, if it's higher toxicity or lack of plasma in the blood, you go through skin, pimples, boils, eczemas. All this is toxins coming out through the skin, irritating the skin. So when you go into cellular protocol, you have two parts. One is correction of the diet. This is extremely important because you have to help body to readjust its genome, its genetic activity. And the other part is helping the blood to eliminate toxins. Body will go automatically into detox every time there is a toxin in the blood. If it has enough plasma in the blood, so it can use it. But since we are being told no salt and no animal food, because animal products are full of minerals, so if you cut those two things out and you go on plants which are very low in minerals, this is why herbivores need to be supplied with salt. Then your body has to release the water because there is not enough minerals. So the electroconductivity of the plasma in the body is dropping. When electroconductivity drops, it is same like resistance of electricity. So you're going to be incapacitated. You will die. So body has to lower the water if it's low in minerals, and your blood dehydrates, and here you go into so-called polycythemia, dehydrated blood, and body cannot cleanse. Toxicity rises. So the option body has is it has to try to. It's programmed that it has to try. Body is stupid robot that runs on programs. It's not conscious. It will be conscious. It will be operating much differently. It just obeys programs and the processors. So it is designed that if toxicity of the blood is high, not only to eliminate it, but also just remove it from the blood. So it gets deposited under the skin in the subcutaneous tissues and through organs and tissues. And you become progressively more and more toxic the longer you are in a dehydrated state. You are still urinating, but not often, because the body does not want to lose plasma, and it cannot hold 100% on minerals. It's losing minerals every time you urinate. So the one part of the protocol is to correct the diet, to allow body to readjust, and the other part of the protocol is to hydrate the blood. And what do you use to hydrate blood? What happens when you go to hospital and you are in very bad shape and you cannot even eat nothing and you vomit and you have diarrhea? Well, doctors put you on IV, intravenous. What they put you? Put you on plasma, water with salt. Do they use sea salt? I doubt. But they use salt because this is what you need. Well, you don't have to go to hospital to be jabbed and tortured, because it's enough for you to drink plasma, drink water with salt. To prove that salt is bad for us, they do not provide us with a natural sea salt or even with natural rock salt from mine. They provide us with artificial salt, and then they put poisons in it under pretense that they are anti-caking substances to help salt to flow. And what they are using? They are using toxic aluminum oxide, titanium oxide, toxic heavy metal powders. They are white. And then they say, you see, you have too much of salt, and you see you have kidney problems, and you have this problem, that problem. Well, it's from the metal poisoning. And also, they put toxic iodine. No, you need iodine. You need iodine. Not true. Yes, we need iodine, but in micro doses, and you get it through regular food more than you need. We are never low on iodine. This is all lie. And again, when you take higher doses of iodine, they close cellular receptors. The cells close their membranes, tighten the membranes because they don't want the scrap in. And what happens is they stop cleansing, and your blood remains clean, because the majority of toxins that go in the blood do not come from a food. They come from your cells, from their metabolism, and your emotions. And we always skip the power of thought and the power of bad emotions or good emotions. Good emotions lift us up. They increase voltage. They heal us. They reestablish proper resonance of cells. The bad thoughts, they do exactly the opposite. They draw energy. They make brain overactive in fear, and they suck the energy out, lowering voltage, making our vibration, cellular vibration, unstable, easy, prone to shift, and you come up with a wrong vibratory state, which we call disease. So, more toxic the body is. Older we are usually, the more toxic we are. We have to be careful when we start providing plasma, because if we start providing plasma quick, we raise the blood level quickly, but we also already have problem with our blood vessels, because on cellular level, they are dry, they are brittle. Since the voltage was low, magnetic repulsion was low, so you can have plaque buildup, and more than that, you can have buildup of calcium, which then makes your walls of blood vessels really fragile. So if you suddenly increase the blood plasma level, body goes immediately into detox. And first, at the beginning, first few days, you actually feel good, because your blood is being cleansed immediately. You start drinking plasma, it's like putting IV on, because your mucosal tissue from the mouth all the way to colon is absorptive. So it will absorb and pack your blood with lymph and with plasma. But then, since your blood vessels are rigid, they cannot stretch, they cannot absorb the increased pressure when heart is pumping, and the pressure, internal pressure, starts rising. This is not a problem, but if you have a brittle artery in a brain, especially, or around a heart, they may break. Not by pressure by itself, but you jump, you have to do something, somebody hits you, pow, up, easily. You know that elderly bruise easily. You touch them a little bit harder, and purely it becomes blank, because all these arteries are brittle. When you push it, and it breaks, and they bleed. And most of the elderly are on so-called blood thinners, which are nothing else but anticoagulants, and then the bleeding doesn't stop, and the space becomes loaded with blood, turns blue and green and brown, because doctors don't understand the body. I didn't know everything on what I'm talking about is knowledge that I acquired once when I started really investigating, and this is after 2000, so less 25 years. And of course I'm guided, because I would never get there without help. So when you do self-healers protocol, older you are, the more chronic symptoms you have, the more careful you have to be with hydration. With changing diet, not so. You can change diet dramatically, very quickly, and body will love you for it. But things happen. When we eat toxic food, also our digestive system, our intestines, the cells are going to react negatively to it. They tighten the membrane. So the absorption is not really good. And since plants are full of toxins, you eat plants, well, the absorption is not going to be so good. A lot of even water stays in the intestine, and we are being told, you see, you need the fiber of plants so you can have a normal stool. Well, this is not true. You need it because your body is dehydrated and it wants all the water you can provide and all the minerals you can provide, but it cannot really get them because membranes are tight, so the absorption is very slow and a lot of water remains in the intestine. So yes, you have a stool, but you have a problem. You have toxic blood and toxic body. When you change the diet and you stop poisoning yourself, the membranes of the cells, intestine, open up. Your absorption becomes great. So you start absorbing, and since your body is toxic, all the water goes in and the content of your intestines dehydrates. You start having hard stool. You get constipated. So we are told, no, now you got to poison your intestine. You have to take ricinus oil, very toxic oil, because again, it is going to close down the cellular absorption, and the water that you provide is now going to stay there and loosen up the stool and make it possible to eliminate it. It's all about, nothing is about fiber. It's all about poisoning and water, plasma, water with minerals. So we have to understand, once when you change the diet, now your body will be sucking the liquid and using it to cleanse, which will make you constipated. And on the other side, if you don't provide enough, you will cleanse at the beginning, but as you slowly rising the level of plasma, you are increasing volume of blood and more lympha, and it starts poking more toxins from the tissue, because now, again, as it's programmed for cleansing, okay, now it can do it. So, and blood is becoming more toxic. Sometimes there is such a big accumulation of toxins in parts of the body, in tissues, that when additional lymph comes there, becomes so toxic that it is not allowed again to join back the blood, not to make it toxic again. Again, it's all controlled by programs, internal programs. It's not smart body, because this toxic stuff, which causes then the water retention, is not that toxic that would harm us. It would be much better to get it out. But the programming is, depending how much plasma you have in the blood, what is the toxicity of the blood, what is the toxicity of, it's many different parameters that the robot has to recycle and calculate, and comes out with the setup. It's programmed to slow release of toxins, trying to keep the blood manageable for cleansing, because capacity of cleansing of the blood is not so great. Your body, your cells can release way more toxins in 1 minute than your body can cleanse out in 2 days. So sometimes your body, your cells release toxins because blood was clean. They take a sip and your blood becomes sewer. And the capacity, it cannot really cleanse so quickly, and it partially cleanses and partially redeposits the toxin in the tissue, and then in time cleanses it if you continue providing plasma. So it is pretty elaborate system, complicated, complex, but it's not under control of conscious body. So the body consciously, like once when we know, okay, so this retained liquid is not that toxic, let's urinate it out. Well, body does not listen to it. Body is running on a program, which complicates stuff. This is why we use medicinal remedies, and sometimes you have to. Okay, sometimes I recommend people take diuretic. Sometimes I recommend them take painkiller. Those are the two remedies, medicinal remedies, that I recommend most of the time, if any. And that's only in emergency situations. Otherwise, let the body do its job. This is why when we are older, and I always ask, when people ask me to send them cellular's protocol, nothing is on automatic. People say, well, I tried already, but your stuff doesn't work. Well, because it's not automized. I receive the request, and then I personally respond, and I advise, look, if you are medicated or have chronic problem, you should be guided. Unless you have read everything and watched all my videos and you really get it, then you don't need nobody. Then you understand every symptom of your body and you proceed correctly. And how you start the protocol, it all depends on variety of factors. Again, if you are younger and you don't have any particular major symptoms, you can just get the protocol and use it the way it is written. It's a general. But if you are more problematic, if you are more toxic, you have more problems, you should be guided, especially older people. And the guidance is in the diet, because sometimes we have to eat some toxic plant when we start with the protocol, so we can hydrate slower and we avoid constipation. So this is where the guiding really comes to. And sometimes when there is a toxic release, body goes into this cleansing process, but because too many toxins have been released, as I explained, some get stuck back in a tissue, and blood is maintained very toxic, which causes problems: insomnia, headache, lack of energy, problem in concentration, and pain. Not only headache, could be muscular pain, could be intestinal pain, depending where there are already problems. Pain is basically caused as a warning sign, and the biggest warning signs you get with lack of energy, lack of electricity, and lack of oxygen. So again, toxic blood will not allow these things to go through easily and will cause pain in affected, already damaged organs before then it will do the same in the other organs. And when body releases a lot of toxicity, we feel nauseous, and depending now on a type of a toxin, because lately I have noticed a lot of people have problem with a yellow discharge of yellow acids. Well, this is liver. Now, what is liver? Liver is sensory organ that processes emotions. And one way of cleansing the emotions is through activity of gallbladder and liver, producing bile and cleansing with these acids. And after the initial high toxicity that is going to cause nauseousness and pain, this may calm down if you continue drinking plasma, you keep cleansing. But what happens is that I don't advise to eat when you are in such a state of toxicity, or when you eat just minimum necessary and as clean as possible. It means raw animal product. And this body can absorb. There is not much left over, but it is cleansing the emotion. So you have constantly need of urination. You are not going to urinate if body doesn't have anything to cleanse. Body does not eliminate plasma just because it's on a timer. It doesn't happen this way. Whenever you urinate, body is eliminating something. Same is with defecation. And now with sweating, could be this, could be also a control of body temperature. So it happens. Now lately, I've seen, I went through it 2 years in a row in deep cleanse, that 1 year I became yellow as a lemon. And this year, the past December, the pain, I hit my lower back because I have chronic problem with lower back. Why? Emotional problem affecting my lower back. And now with this dealing with emotions, which were not even mine. I absorbed them. I had to cleanse them. And for 2 weeks, I had yellow liquid coming out of me on both ends and burning. And when body was clean, this stopped. And I checked if it was clean enough, if 2 weeks was enough. I put a little bit lemon in my plasma. And the little slight toxicity was enough to stop liver of producing these acids, because there was no really need for it anymore. I cleansed sufficiently. But if you do not cleanse sufficiently, you are going to keep releasing this yellow acids. And the question is, well, how long can I do this? Well, you are going to be releasing what you already have accumulated, but also you may be releasing something that is in one of your parallel lives, past and future. That because only in present you can do the cleansing, and since we are in a process of shifting the frequency now, of evolution, we have to cleanse everything before we can do that. So, especially people that are shifting their frequency because they are basically waking up, and they are more willing to shift. The frequency is rising, the bodies are cleansing. And now on top of it, if you are exposed to emotional stress, you keep producing toxin. So you're cleansing and producing. How long? Well, as long as you do that. Now question, how do I stop this cleansing? Well, body is cleansing. You can stop it by not drinking plasma. So drink just water. Avoid salt. You will eliminate salt, minerals, and you will go down in dehydrated state of polycythemia. Body will not be able to eliminate anymore. Blood will be maintained toxic. So you have to know when you stop this process. Because of increase of blood toxicity, you are going to have symptoms of toxic blood. So pain is going to come, discomfort. And then if you ignore it, body will adjust to it. It will start pushing these toxins in the tissue again. When they're in tissue, they are not that problematic. And gradually, it is going to adjust to the circumstance. But it is going to be an uncomfortable process. It is better just cleanse and then think, where is this problem coming from? I know it's emotional. Where? Is somebody driving me crazy and I'm driving myself crazy? So the best thing is, in this moment, focus on something that you love to do. Especially if it's something related to activity. So you have to watch equilibrium and you have to be really constant focus on what you are doing. And this way, you stop producing the toxin. And your body will cleanse it and you're fine. Just trying to control your anxiety is very difficult, because that's how we are. We cannot forgive. We cannot forget. We hold grudges. If you do that, you keep creating emotional toxin that has to be processed by liver. So one way to stop it, well, number one should be forgiveness. Forgiveness means acceptance. You accept it. What happened, you are done with it. And you stop producing these emotions. But because it's tough, on top of this, you should do something that you love to do. Being it, I don't know, hiking or fishing, or not fishing, active fishing, spearfishing, or, you know, with lures, sitting and waiting for fish to bite gives you too much time to think again. So it has to be something active. And this is going to help you to accelerate tremendously your healing process. Your healing means stopping producing toxins and detoxify and be done with it. Again, it's all about understanding the body, how it really works. And we have not been told that. We have no clue. Am I 100% correct in everything I say? I don't know. This is how I tend to understand things from what I was served with through my experiences. And then using the kudo and thinking about it, ignoring the lies I have been told through my life, not putting them in equation, not having fear of salt, not having fear of cholesterol, not having fear of eating meat or drinking seawater. You eliminate this. Just recently, my brother Mark sent me an article here from Peru. Fisherman on a little Kakamaka boat was swept to the sea and spent 3 months, 90 days in open water before rescued. Now, they don't mention what he drank, because I God forbid people hear that you can drink seawater and survive. No, they just mention what he ate. He caught a bird and he caught a fish and he ate it. We need way more plasma than we need food. And he was drinking seawater. There's no other option. And when they rescued him, he was in perfect health. No problem. Skinny, but perfect health. So, again, understanding body correctly is the key. And how to start the protocol, it all depends on your state in which you are right now. If you are obese, stopping eating and go on fasting with plasma, you drink water with little salt, and you don't eat, so you are not poisoning yourself, the body will go very quickly into ketogenic state, which doctors say, no, this is bad, bad, bad. Well, this is our original state. If you stop poisoning your body, it switches in ketogenic. And then if you eat correctly, it remains in ketogenic state, like every other animal. They're all in ketogenic state. But no, we listen to science and scientists. Well, that's your science. It's full of lies. We have no clue. Nothing we know is true. Nothing. Wake up. And yeah, it's difficult to absorb truth because it's stranger than fiction. You don't need doctors. Doctors are not healing you. Only body will heal you. When you stop poisoning it and you start hydrating it. And then whatever is coming out, let it. But then think where it's coming. Why something is taking a long time. You will be in discomfort very often because of the processes I just explained. So it's easier to be guided. And now especially the people that were born after the 1957, this is when more and more these things start being poked in our bodies, which are poisons. And now we say, well, this last one that they gave you that destroys the immune system. This is not immune system. White blood cells are garbage baggers and garbage disposal system. But if the garbage is not labeled as a garbage, white blood cells are useless. They don't know what to do. And they are not labeled. Again, I cannot go through this. My videos are being taken out that mention too much truth, too sensitive truth. And I want as many people as possible to have benefit of truth. So contact me if you want to know details. I exposed everything basically, but for guidance, there are other people also on my site. You can find under eClinic. There are other people with different languages that have been using the protocol, are using it to help other people. So you can ask for their help to guide you. They'll gladly do it. And if you did it and you see the benefits of it, you have experienced them, start helping other people. We are here to help each other. And if you do not go into this mindset of stopping hurting and me, and start sharing and helping, you're not going to go into the fifth density. You will remain for another million or so years behind to practice the goodness. So keep that in mind. We have now opportunity in a very short period of time, within a few months, we can shift. And we decide if we will or not. But the mindset has to be there. Start helping. I hope this answers a lot of questions that I'm being asked all the time. The detox stops automatically when the blood toxicity is under control. And then the necessity for drinking plasma lowers down. And if you feel basically good, but you just want to remain healthy, you don't have to be strict, and you don't need to drink so much plasma. You can just put a little bit of salt in the water, bless it, and drink it. Or be generous with salt on your food, and then drink water with your meal. So this way, your body will produce the plasma. Don't wait too long to drink, because your body will eliminate surplus of the salt. So when you drink water, you already will be lower on minerals, and now you will be forcing even more elimination, because body will have to eliminate the water that it cannot bind to minerals. So it's a pretty fast adjustment process. Okay, I think video is long enough. I hope you're not sleeping. Till next time, love you all. Namaste.